Hey guys, welcome back to another video. If you can hear fans going on and they're really loud, then I'm really sorry. I'm in Queensland and it's quite hot, so I kind of need them on. But it's been a while since I've been on here on YouTube because I go through like moments of getting lost in doing one certain thing and then coming back and then getting lost and coming back. So I wanted to talk about coming home to yourself, and I'll get into it in this video, I promise. But I wanted to base it kind of quickly off my experience in the last couple of weeks. So I have moved to Queensland and I manifested moving to Queensland, which to me, manifestation isn't really hard. But I do want to say that coming home to myself or coming home to yourself is like a key topic, because that's something that I've had to really do and remind myself to do constantly, especially being placed in environments that I'm not familiar with, so that I can remember who I am and I can remember what I'm here for and what I'm doing. And this is all to do with the mind. If you're someone like me, where you are an overthinker, where you need to think of every possible outcome before you even attempt to do whatever that thing you want to do, or you need to find reason behind everything, like you're just always in your mind, you need to think logical, then you'll kind of relate. And so I've been trying to work through getting out of my mind, because your mind is no good. It's not going to lead you anywhere. It will lead you pretty much back to the same thing over and over again. And this is what I found and what I've been noticing with my life, and what I've been doing is that every time I go back into my mind and I start to reason things and I need to, get answers and whatever it is in my mind, then I find that I go back to my old self, my old life. It's like I go forward, but then I go backwards. And so coming to Queensland was a huge shift for me. And I find that with manifestation, with doing big things, I can do it easily. But because it's so unfamiliar, it's so unsettling to the body and to my mind, the subconscious mind, who just wants to control everything, I end up almost going back every single time. So a couple of days ago, I had this feeling that I wanted to go home to Melbourne, where I have a job, working corporate, just like casually or part-time or whatever, and where it feels safe and it feels familiar, where I can get an income, where I'm not, I have my friends, I'm not homesick, all of this stuff. It's just easy. And I was this close to wanting to do that. And I remember Mum had the conversation with me, and she was like, I'll be disappointed if you go home because you don't want to go home. It's just easier for you. And I was like, you're very, very, very right. So coming home to yourself, it's so important, and something that I've been practicing and remembering to return back is to me, and what I'm here for. So if you're doing certain things that are out of your comfort zone, that are not necessarily what you've ever done before, or that other people around you can't relate, then oftentimes your mind can't make sense of it, or will try to talk yourself out of it. So me coming to Queensland, I wanted to come here to experience a completely different life, I wanted that. I remember daydreaming in Melbourne and thinking how I wanted to go to Queensland, I wanted to live by the beach, I wanted to have freedom, I wanted to do all these things, and I'm here doing it. And scarcity started to kick in, fear, things about money, not having any friends here. Like, it was just, and I got lost in that cycle, and then I was like, oh, well, I want to go home again. And I've been here before. I came to Queensland before and I went back home. And it's like, where is even home? Melbourne, it's not necessarily to call Melbourne my home, because, I was born there, I grew up there, but I don't even know where home is. So me returning back home and remembering that I'm here to do what I was meant to do. Like, I have a mission here on earth to complete that and to return back to who I am. And I think it's really important for us to remind ourselves that we need to close off our mind from the outside world. We need to shut off what other people think and their opinions, or we need to, rather than think from our mind, actually tap into our heart and go, what does our heart want? And I think the biggest thing for me was that I was starting to do things that wasn't in alignment with me. It wasn't what I truly wanted to do, and I had to sit there and ask myself, like, is this really what I wanted to do? And I already knew straight away. I was like, hell no, it's not what I wanted to do. Absolutely not. And I found that I was doing stuff to compensate for, I don't know, money, or for taking up time, or trying to find friends, or whatever. Like, it wasn't the right way to do it. It didn't feel good to me. But I had to ask myself, I had to go within and ask myself, well, what the hell am I doing? Why am I doing this? Like, it's obviously not for me. What's going on? So when you can shut off the mind, because the mind is so powerful, the mind is just your subconscious mind. Like, for you guys that don't know, your subconscious mind is just old programming. It's old beliefs and thoughts that has been conditioned from a young age into your subconscious mind. So most of us live just on autopilot, from old habits, old behaviors, old ways of thinking. And because our subconscious mind reminds us of those things, it's like we relive it because that's what we truly believe is true for us. But it's not. It's just our subconscious mind. There's nothing real or false. There's nothing true or false, real or fake. Like, there's no such thing as that. It's just the way that we perceive things. The way we perceive life is not necessarily how life really is. It's just our take of it. Someone else will have a different take of life. But the thing is, we can awaken our awareness, or expand our consciousness, is what we kind of came here to do, so that we can experience new things in life, so that we can experience who we are and expand as a soul. And by doing this is by getting out of the mind and tapping into your heart and doing what your heart wants, getting into alignment. And everything is energy. So when we're tapping into that, our energy source, we're raising our vibration by being in alignment with who we are, what we want to do, which was going back to me doing things that I didn't want to do. I had to rethink myself. Why am I doing this? It's not for me. I don't want to do it. But I was doing it for the wrong reasons. So I had to literally just think and go, okay, well, I'm not doing it for the right reasons. So I need to get rid of it. I need to stop doing that and return back to who I am. And when you do that and you go within, you'll receive the answers. Like, nothing, no one can tell you otherwise. No one. And everything is energy. Everything in this world is literally made up of energy. It is proven. Your thoughts, created with feelings, it's all energy. And the things that we hold on to is because of the way it makes us feel. The way it has made us feel, and how we hold on to the feelings to remind us that this is what's happened to us. And this is why a lot of us can't move past certain things. Breakups, traumatic events, people, places, things. Do you guys, any of you remember, like, going to a place and going, oh, I had really good memories with this person, and you're no longer together? And it's like, it's a good memory, and then it's a sad memory. It's only because of the emotions. And emotions are just energy. Emotion. It's all energy. We control our realities. We can manifest our life, the life that we want. but we have to get out of our head. And this was a huge wake-up call for me. It was a huge reminder that I didn't want to go back to my old self, which is a lot easier to do because it's in the known. I know how to do it. I've lived it my whole life, or at least for the past 5 years, and I've wanted to change. I have been so unhappy with myself because I've been doing things that weren't in my heart, weren't for my soul's purpose. It wasn't in alignment. I didn't like it. I just did it because it was easy. It was known. So I came here to push myself out of my comfort zone, to do things that weren't necessarily familiar. And what I found every single time doing this is that I go back to my mind, and my ego, my subconscious mind, will remind myself of all the reasons why it's not going to work, or reminds myself that I'm going to fail, or that I'm not able to do this, and will convince me to go back to what's familiar, because again, that's all in the known. So I encourage you to just ask yourself, what are you doing that's not in alignment? What doesn't feel good for you? What are the things that you're doing that you don't like? And I would suggest getting rid of them. And it could be easier said than done, and probably doesn't necessarily have to be a do it right now moment, but gradually, where are elements in your life that no longer serve you? Another thing is that we often hold on to certain things because we feel like we have to, and this again could kind of fall into people pleasing and feeling like you don't want to hurt the other person, but we are always shedding old layers of ourselves. We're always growing and ascending and change. We change all the time. I change almost every day. I experience new versions of me every single day. But we have to remove and let go those things that aren't who we are anymore. And even if that is, it's one moment you were with someone, and then the next moment the relationship or the friendship no longer aligns, then there's no point holding on to it, because you're just delaying your evolution, you're delaying your expansion. And the more you hold on to things, the less you're able to open yourself to other things. It's about making room for new things and getting rid of old things. But all of this, everything that I'm talking about always comes back to asking yourself, what is not in alignment? What is in alignment? And even this morning, I had to ask myself, what can I do differently? And the last couple of days, I was not myself, because I have been struggling to tap into my heart and to remember why I'm here, because my mind took over. And I'm a huge overthinker, and that's something that I've been learning to overcome for years now, since my spiritual awakening. And this is always going to be part of my journey. This is always going to be learning and shedding old self, old aspects of myself. That's so hard to let go of sometimes, because it's I identified as this person, and I want to hold on to it, but it's no longer me, so I need to let that go. I want to do a card pull as well. I don't know, sorry, the camera cut out. I don't know where it was. But yeah, I want to do a card pull. And I don't know if you noticed, no makeup on. And I want to stick to wearing less makeup, because this is who I really am. So anyway, I was going to say something before and I forgot. Well, okay, strength and guidance. This came out. Strength and guidance. Oh, another thing I was going to say was that it's left my mind again. Also, another thing that I had experienced was that certain things were happening that I perceived them as going wrong. since being in Queensland. And so that was kind of an excuse for my ego to go, oh, well, things are too hard, like go back to Melbourne. But it's all how we perceive things. We can look at things as the way that we look at things, whether negative, positive, neutral, whatever. We have the freedom. This is why we have free will. We all have our own individual awareness, and we perceive things our own individual way of thinking. And so when we can realize that, well, it doesn't have to be the way that we actually perceive things, that it's just kind of from our ego or from our subconscious mind, then we can open our awareness to, I don't know, look at things from a different perception or perspective. That's why I love listening to other people's opinions, because it's not necessarily like your opinion's right and my opinion, or your opinion's wrong, my opinion's right. It's more like I love listening to the way that other people perceive things, because it just opens up your awareness that, it's not necessarily just from your point of view. You can look at other people's point of views. Okay, so strength and guidance. I'm just going to read the book because I only bought this deck not long ago, so I don't really know it very well. Don't underestimate the power of your soul. You are a strong and resilient soul with the capacity to rise above any challenge. Oh my God, this is not what I've just literally been talking about. Divine intervention is taking place at the time where whatever is occurring in your life is providing a real learning curve for your soul. You are becoming more and more aware of what will lead you to fulfill your purpose and what will divert you from joy. Your angel guides encourage you to recognize that the feeling that are coming up to you now are guidance that will help you understand the steps that you need to take and the moves that you need to make in order to align abundance and support. And this is like a big thing that came up for me, was that, and actually Ella Ringrose mentioned it in one of her videos, and I was like, was that thing, we learn lessons, right? We have things that we need to learn. It helps us grow. It helps us learn new aspects of ourselves. It helps us expansion and raise our consciousness. But it doesn't necessarily have to be a negative thing. It's just we perceive it as negative. That's just how we automatically, it's how our ego takes it. So when we can open our awareness and, I guess, not look at it as necessarily negative, but more of how can I, how can something good come from this? Because something good can come from any situation, no matter how bad it looks. Like for me, all the things that happened in my past that were traumatic for me at the time are what made me who I am today. And so I don't regret anything that has happened to me. And even though there were tough situations at the time, I've learnt so much. I've learnt who I am, and kind of made me who I am today. So very valuable. You can always choose to take certain situations and perceive them the way that you perceive them. It doesn't have to be negative. So angels are encouraging. This is a deep message for this card. Angels are encouraging you to dig deep and hold your station. And this is so powerful for me because, all the stuff with Queensland. If you're wondering what the next step is, know that it will be revealed in due course. Don't change your plans or your vision or your goals for anyone. This is not a time to take drastic action, but to remain committed and strong. Keep up the good work. Angels are encouraging you to recognize the power of your prayers and intentions at the time. Recognize too that angels are with you and willing to guide you on your journey. The universe itself is with you. If you trust in it, and you will draw down the power of the cosmos, and the right steps will be revealed in such a way that it will be effortless for you to take them. Know that it's not your job or duty to know everything that's unfolding, just to take one step at a time until the solution and the outcome are revealed. Have faith, positive things are happening. Whoa, I almost cried in that because I was like, this is exactly what I needed to hear. And I always say that I am a mirror reflection of you. So there's probably elements or somewhere in your life that you are somewhat going through something very similar, or that you can learn from this. And so that I find is so powerful. Okay. So to, I guess, wrap this video up, it's always to return back to home. So whenever you're feeling lost or confused, or like things are just going fucking shit, then as much as you want to try to get everything analyzed up here and you want to solve every situation, you're never going to be able to do that up here. You always have to return to your heart. So when you literally just place your hand on your heart and close your eyes and you tell yourself that you're going to be okay, and if you need guidance, you can ask the universe or your guides or whatever for guidance and go, help me to navigate into or receive the answers or whatever I need in this moment, or just simply going within and to repeat my 4 mantra affirmations, which is I am loved, which is I am safe, I am loved, I am powerful, I am enough. I am safe, I am loved, I am powerful, and I am enough. And I literally will place my hand on my heart, or I'll close my eyes and I'll just really feel into those words and like know that I am safe, like, because you are safe. There's, you know, you're not dying, like, well, hopefully you're not dying. There's nothing else that could be wrong, you know. And just remembering that always return back to your heart, because that is where you're going to find the answers. That's where you're going to feel most safe, feel most at home. And when you're up here, you're never going to receive the things that you're wanting. So it's always really important to go back here. So with that being said, thank you so much for staying here till the end. Please hit the like button and subscribe as well. And I'd love for you to share this video so that the message can get out to as many people as possible. And I promise you, I always say this, but I will definitely be on YouTube more often because I do love being here on YouTube, and I might even go live on YouTube from here forward. We'll see. But thank you for being here till the end, and if you like me without makeup, I reckon I'll be doing more without any makeup on.